used one of those really powerful AI tools, maybe a big language model, and just felt like you're shouting into the void almost.
Like a one-way street.
Exactly. You ask it things, it gives answers, maybe you even pay for it, but you get this feeling the real value is just flowing away from you
Right.
towards the company that owns it.
Yeah, you're essentially a consumer in that model. You use the service, but you're not really part of the value creation loop itself.
So what if that could be completely flipped? That's what we're diving into today. We're looking at this really fascinating lecture note from Jaehwa Choi. He's an associate professor at George Washington University and the inventor behind the CAFA platform.
That's CAFA, pronounced Kappa.
Right, CAFA. And this note, CAFA Tokenomics, Fueling a Collaborative AI Agent Ecosystem, it lays out a totally different approach. One where your contributions actually mean something, financially even. It's a fundamental shift. CAFA is explicitly trying to move beyond those traditional centralized AI systems we're used to. The whole idea is to build an environment where value is shared fairly and, all the meaningful things you do are actually rewarded transparently. So it's not just another AI, it's a whole new economic model wrapped around it. What does that really mean for you, the listener, and maybe for the future of AI collaboration?
Okay, let's get into it. To really get why CAFA is potentially so different, we probably need to talk about the problems with the current way things work first, like those big LLMs.
Right. The lecture note points this out. Clearly, there's a dominant unidirectional flow of value.
Unidirectional, yeah. You feed it data, you write prompts, maybe you pay a subscription.
And the benefits, they mostly pile up for the platform owner.
It kind of sounds like we're just feeding this giant machine that never really gives back. Beyond the immediate answer, no thank you, definitely no paycheck. And that one-way flow, it's not just, well, unfair. It actually creates real problems for the long-term health of AI development. The first big one is sustainability.
How so?
Well, these platforms often depend on, as the note says, unpredictable streams of external venture capital funding and aggressive, perpetual pursuit of new user acquisition.
Okay, so chasing VC money and new signups constantly.
Exactly. And the core issue is that the immense value generated by the active user community does not directly or consistently cycle back to fortify and reinvest in the ecosystem. There's just no direct way for users to actually earn anything from helping make the platform better.
Which I guess leads straight into the next problem. If I'm not getting anything back, why would I bother putting in extra effort? That's limited user incentive, right?
Precisely. Beyond just using the tool for a quick task, there are strikingly few structural incentives for users to provide high-quality, meticulously detailed feedback or to offer nuanced, complex contributions.
You're just a passive consumer.
Right. Not an active participant. And think about all the potential collective intelligence that's just lost because there's no reason for people to share it deeply. It could make AI so much better, but the model doesn't encourage it.
And then the big one, the elephant in the room, platform dependency and centralized control. One company holds all the keys.
Yeah. It's like a digital landlord, as you put it earlier.
Yeah.
The note highlights how value accumulation and operational control are heavily concentrated in the hands of a single centralized platform provider.
So what does that actually mean for me as a user?
It means the rules can change anytime. The document mentions access, pricing structures, feature availability, and even the fundamental terms of data usage can be unilaterally altered.
By that one central authority. Well,
Yeah. And that kind of control really stifles innovation, true collaboration. If you don't have a real stake, if you can't earn anything from it, you have no vested interest in challenging or changing these centralized decisions. It's built for consumption, not really for partnership.
Okay, so that lays out the problem pretty clearly. This one-way street, shaky funding models, all the power in one place. How does CAFA plan to, well, flip the script, like we said? What's the solution?
This is where their tokenomics model really kicks in. It's designed specifically to tackle those problems head-on. The big idea is this. Instead of users merely consuming a service, they are actively and transparently rewarded for their valuable contributions, allowing them to explicitly build a stake.
Build a stake, so you're not just a user anymore.
Exactly. You become an invested, long-term stakeholder. You actually own a piece of the ecosystem's success because you helped build it. It's about earning equity through participation.
And this token system, it's not just tacked on, is it? The note calls it the fundamental economic engine.
It is. It connects everything. It links together these four core pillars of CAFA. First, there's the CAFA theoretical framework.
Okay, what's that?
The theory is about collaboration, but the tokenomics provides the essential practical economic incentives to make that collaboration real, tangible. It shows how users can actually earn value from engaging, which motivates them to participate meaningfully. It's the economic fuel for cooperative AI.
Got it. Then pillar 2, the CAFA digital platform itself. How does the token fit into the tech?
Well, the CAFA token is what actually powers everything on the platform. It directly fuels all transactions, intricate interactions, and operational processes. It makes the whole contribute to earn thing work and be verifiable.
So every interaction.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Submitting data, giving feedback, using an AI agent, even deploying a new agent, all of it is seamlessly mediated and powerfully incentivized by the token. You don't just use the platform. You can earn by participating actively.
And that activity, that earning, that helps build the CAFA community, the third pillar.
That's the idea. Tokenomics strategically aligns the diverse interests of all participants because everyone has a tangible vested stake. It naturally encourages collaboration and mutual support because helping the ecosystem grow directly increases the value of the stake you hold. It becomes a shared investment.
Right. Makes sense. And the final pillar ties it all together, CAFA economics.
This describes the overall system, a circular, self-sustaining economy. It's designed for long-term viability, robust resilience, and consistent growth, without constantly needing that external VC funding we talked about earlier. Growth comes organically from people participating and earning value within the network itself, a self-feeding loop.
Okay, this is definitely a different way of thinking, but let's talk about the tokens themselves. How is a CAFA token really different from, say, other AI tokens out there, or even regular crypto tokens?
It's a really important distinction, and it comes down to the core purpose. Let's look at primary use. Traditional tokens. They're usually just for direct access to a service, like paying a toll. There's often no built-in way to earn them just by using the platform.
Okay, so like an access pass.
Right. But CAFA tokens are designed as a representation of active contribution, ownership, and governance rights. The earn mechanism is fundamental.
So the value doesn't just disappear when you use it. That leads to value accrual, right?
Exactly. With traditional tokens, value is consumed or spent upon use. It's gone. With CAFA, value is actively created, earned, and retained by the user as a reward. It's something you accumulate, like building equity. Less like a movie ticket, more like a share in the cinema.
Which fundamentally changes the economic model.
It shifts from predominantly linear, pay to use, a one-way street, to fundamentally circular, contribute to earn.
And that changes the user role completely.
You go from being primarily consumer to being an active stakeholder, contributor, and often a participant in decentralized governance. You have skin in the game and a chance to earn.
Which naturally changes your incentive for even being there.
Definitely. Usually you just use AI for a specific task. Here, you're incentivized to continuously improve the AI's capabilities and enhance the overall ecosystem, because doing so intrinsically increases the long-term value of your token holdings. Contributing well directly benefits you.
And that seems like it massively impacts sustainability.
It should. Traditional models rely on that external funding and aggressive customer acquisition. They need constant outside fuel. CAFA aims to be inherently self-sustaining through a meticulously designed system of ongoing rewards, value recirculation, and reinvestment. Earning keeps people engaged, which keeps the ecosystem healthy.
Now, it's really important to point out something the lecture note emphasizes. The CAFA token is strictly a utility token.
Yes, that's crucial. Its value is meant to be intrinsically tied to its functional demand and usage within the ecosystem. It's explicitly not intended as a financial security or investment contract, at least not at this stage.
So don't think of it like buying a stock right now.
Right. Think of it as the key to unlock services, the mechanism for getting rewards for your contributions, and the way to participate in governing the platform. It's about utility and earning through participation.
This whole idea of earning, of building a stake through contributions, it brings up a huge question. What does ownership really mean in the digital world? We talk about owning our data, but do we really? Especially if we don't get paid when it's used.
Yeah, that's a deep question the lecture note touches on. It argues that true ownership, especially in this context, must encompass the fundamental right to receive fair compensation or value for that asset when it is utilized by others.
Without that compensation.
The concept of ownership remains incomplete and potentially exploitative. Think of it physically. If you own land and someone wants to use it, you expect compensation, right?
Of course, rent or royalties or something.
CAFA applies that logic to your digital contributions. Your data, your feedback, your creations, they're assets. The model is fundamentally built upon this principle, letting you earn from them, going way beyond just simple access or temporary licenses. It connects ownership to earning value. The core idea presented is that owning AI is intrinsically equivalent to owning the value that AI produces.
Okay, so that's the philosophy. How does CAFA actually set the ground rules for this economy? The note talks about Genesis CAFA Improvement Proposals, CIPs. These sound like the founding laws.
That's a good way to put it. They're like the initial, unchangeable rules etched into the system's foundation. The first one, CIP1, is about the max token supply.
And the number is set in stone. A precisely fixed total of 10 billion CAFA tokens. Why fixed?
It's absolutely critical, according to the note, for guaranteeing the long-term health, absolute predictability, and unassailable integrity of the whole economy. A fixed supply creates inherent economic stability by deliberately creating predictable scarcity.
Like digital gold, almost. You know there won't suddenly be more.
Exactly. It builds trust, because no central body can just arbitrarily print more tokens. And crucially, this isn't just a policy promise. It's immutably hard-coded directly into the core CAFA protocol's underlying smart contracts. It's baked into the code.
Okay, fixed supply. What about CIP2, the token consumption rate? How much do things cost, and where does that money, those tokens, go?
Every interaction, what they call a turn, costs 10 CAFA tokens. But the interesting part is the split. 7 tokens, directly allocated to the application developer, the person who made the AI agent you're using.
Ah, so developers get paid directly based on usage.
Yes. It's a powerful, performance-driven incentive for them to create good agents and earn from them. The other remaining 3 tokens are systematically directed to the CAFA server reserve.
And that reserves is for
keeping the lights on, essentially. Sustainably funding ongoing network operations, essential infrastructure maintenance, robust security enhancements, and future strategic development. And this 10-token rate, it's rigidly fixed until explicitly modified through the decentralized governance protocol, giving everyone economic predictability.
Makes sense. Then there's CIP3, compensation to initial core contributors. This is about rewarding the founders.
Yes, recognizing the foundational work. A total of 15% of the absolute maximum token supply, which is 1.5 billion tokens, is set aside for the initial core team, specifically mentioning Jaehwa Choi, Kyung-gil Yoon, and Sunny Kim with specific percentages.
But they don't get it all at once, right? There's a lockup.
Correct. To ensure sustained long-term commitment, only 10% of each founder's allocation is released each year, over a 10-year period.
So they're incentivized to stick around and make sure CAFA succeeds long-term. Their success is tied to the platform's success.
Precisely. It rewards their initial, significant long-term commitment, profound dedication, and considerable personal sacrifice, while also actively incentivizing their continued active involvement. Their interests stay aligned with the ecosystem's health. These Genesis CIPs together form that constitutional bedrock, providing the stability, predictability, and trust needed for this kind of digital economy to function, and outlining how everyone, from users to devs to founders, can potentially earn.
Okay, pulling this all together, what does this contribute to earn model really offer everyone involved? It sounds like it creates this amazing alignment of incentives. Let's break down the benefits, starting with the user with you.
Yeah, for users, the big promise is true ownership and value creation. Your personal data is fundamentally transformed into a valuable personal asset, something you don't just own nominally, but that you retain explicit control over.
And you get rewarded for using it, for interacting.
Directly and transparently, for your active interactions, the invaluable feedback you meticulously provide, and the unique knowledge or data you willingly share. All of this allows you to earn and accumulate a significant stake. You become an active economic player, not just, source of data.
That is a potential game changer. Okay, what about the developers building the AI agents on CAFA? What's in it for them?
For developers, it's about direct incentives and a level playing field. They get directly, transparently, and consistently compensated based on the actual engagement, usage, and perceived value of their creations. That's 7 token share per interaction. That's a huge performance-driven incentive.
So good agents get rewarded directly by the users engaging with them.
Exactly. And the decentralized nature aims to create a significantly more level playing field. Independent developers can compete based on the inherent merit and genuine utility and quality of their contributions, not just on who has the biggest marketing budget or corporate backing.
And zooming out, what does this do for the CAFA ecosystem as a whole?
It fosters sustainability and network effects. It creates this powerful, self-reinforcing economic loop. High-quality user contributions improve the platform, which attracts more users and developers
Yeah.
who then contribute more. It's an organic and inherently sustainable growth mechanism.
A positive feedback loop, basically.
Right, driven by aligned incentives and the ability to earn. This community-driven model also potentially offers superior resilience against various external pressures and boosts its adaptability. It's not reliant on one central point of failure or funding.
Wow. It really paints a picture, doesn't it? The CAFA Tokenomics model. It's positioned as that foundational economic engine for a truly collaborative AI, weaving together the theory, the platform, the community, and the economics.
And fundamentally changing the user role from just passive consumption to being an active, empowered stakeholder who can actually earn from contributing.
It's about building something together where the value created is shared and growth feels, well, communal. So this deep dive really shows us a vision where AI's value isn't just something we consume, but something we collectively build and own. Think about it. What if every time you interacted with an AI, every bit of feedback you gave actually added to a shared pool of value that you could benefit from directly, not in some vague, far-off way, but tangibly earning something that reflects your contribution, giving you a real stake? What kinds of possibilities does that unlock for a digital future that's actually decentralized, maybe even more equitable, where the tools we all use and improve are truly ours?